there! Welcome back to the Mothcast, a podcast about video games and how a couple of moths feel about them. The game for episode 32 is Grimm's Hollow, a cute story-based RPG that deals with loss and grieving. Equip your scythe, level your skills, and let's get into the podcast. Alright, so the game this week is called Grimm's Hollow.
Yeah, and it's a nice small little game.
Yeah,
Not too long.
Yeah, so the defining factor, the reason why I found it in the first place, actually, is whenever you go on Steam and you look at related games to Undertale, Grimm's Hollow comes up. It's like a free small team,
Yeah, it was made by like a few people, maybe one, maybe two.
Right. I think 2 is what I saw. I could be wrong. I don't really want to double check. If you want to double check, that's up to you. But I believe it's 2. It's a small team. You know, it's similar to Undertale in that it's like a small team RPG with like pixel graphics, and it's pretty heavily story based, I would say.
Yeah.
It is. I think it's around I think it took me around 2 hours to beat ish. I could look exactly on Steam and it would tell me. But I want to say around 2 hours is right. Yeah, just under 2 hours actually.
I mean, mine says 3.8, but that's because I think I left it on for a while.
Yes. Definitely not one of those people who has a lot of games with a ton of hours because you just leave them on. I don't know anybody like that. Anyway.
Wouldn't be me.
Yeah, so this game is got like a really adorable
it is
like art style. Very striking.
It's pixel graphics until I believe until you get into the like the portraits of the characters whenever they speak is art. It's not pixel.
Yeah.
It's like drawn, I guess.
Yeah, I want to say that any of the
same with the battles.
Yeah, the battles. So I guess it's just like the overworld. Now that I think about it.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. What else would it be? I think the other part would be like I think there's like a cutscene at the end, depending on what ending you get.
Mm-hmm. That is true.
And like those are drawn as well, but otherwise it's like very stylized, very like it's not as clean as last week's Iconoclast's pixel graphics. But you know, for a small game made by one person, it's pretty good. Like really, really good.
It didn't even look like it was made in RPG Maker either. It looked like it was made with something else.
Yeah, it's definitely made with something like really janky. In a similar vein to Undertale. Undertale is made with like the most ancient program known to man. I don't know. I don't remember which one exactly. All I know is that OBS had a hell of a time trying to pick up exactly what it's or you know all the video. So yeah. Yeah, I don't know what else. Like I guess this is definitely more like I want to say like more emo looking, like big baggy clothes main character with the long hair that covers her eyes, you know, sort of art style.
Something like that.
But still like kind of cutesy. I don't know how else to describe it other than that. I would say though that the like designs of the characters are definitely very like Tumblr-esque, maybe, if that makes any sense.
Yeah, that does make sense.
I don't know.
Maybe the portraits and battles are not quite like fully drawn. They are still a little pixel, but
Yeah, but I mean, it's not like in the overworld, it's definitely very evident that it's pixel.
Yeah, yeah,
As opposed to like in battle, everything's like much bigger and much more detailed. Um, which is
yeah.
fine.
That's fine.
Uh, so was there any like was there any music in this game that really stuck out to you? Because I don't think there was for me really. Uh, a lot of it kind of
No,
just like set the stage, and that was about it. There wasn't any that I was like jamming out to while I was playing. You know what I mean?
I don't know. Whatever this main theme that's playing for the trailer is not bad.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I think it's like fine. I don't think there's anything wrong with the
But
music.
it was definitely mostly like
S-
ambient music,
Yeah, ambient like spooky style, like not like horror music.
not like actual horror music, but it
Where they
was like,
have those like
you know,
I don't even know what they're called. Do you know what I'm talking about? When I'm talking about horror music with the like um maybe it's like thumping really low drums to be like a
yeah,
heartbeat, or
something like
like
that.
the loud high pitch like swing
Like
noise.
violin, yeah.
It's actually not a violin. It's actually a very specific um it's a very specific
Shit,
instrument. I
yeah,
don't remember what
it
it's
is, isn't
called
it?
though.
I don't remember either, but I think I remember that. Yeah, it's
But
not
yeah,
quite
a
a
lot of
violin, but it sounds like one.
it's like I want to say that what it looks like is it's these like metal rods that you drag this like bow across it, and then
Okay,
it
let's
makes
look
the
it up.
noise that is used in like every horror everything. um yeah, that is it's nothing like that. It's definitely much more like I don't know, like I don't really know how to describe it other than like, ooh, this is like spooky, like cute spooky, but not like scary spooky.
Yeah,
um yeah, I don't I will give the graphics and the music in this game
um,
like positive like thumbs up, but I don't really think that they're much.
it's a water phone.
A water phone, is that what it's called?
I think so.
Interesting. Water phone. Yeah, that is actually exactly what it is. Yeah. Oh, it's not a bow. It's like another. I don't know. That's wild. Anyway,
Yeah,
go look up water phone if you want to like see some really cool um like
spooky horror
spooky
things.
horror sounds. Like it's
None
it's
of which this game
wild.
has.
Yeah, none of which this game has. Like this game is not a horror. This game
This is
is
not
like
a
a
horror game.
very
It's
like
like a
a, just like a very cute story game.
adorable
Um, it
story game
has
about um loss.
yeah, it has themes of like death and loss, and um kind
Um,
of heavier
you know,
subjects like depression, but like
like
nothing.
depression, learning to live, or I guess not
Yeah,
live
like
with
coping.
losing someone. Yeah.
It's not like DDLC level of stuff. um but
Yeah.
whatever. Yeah.
Okay.
So
Well,
unlike Undertale, um the choices in this game are not tied to the combat, and so like pretty much every fight you're doing, you're like taking, right?
yeah, yeah.
Um, the main sort of, I guess you could say, like gameplay loop in this game is you are a reaper, as is like you find out in the first 2 minutes, which we'll go over in a bit. But you're a reaper, and your goal is to go and reap ghosts because they have like, what was it, like unfinished business, and so
I
they have like
think
too much
it's
spirit energy to
something
move
like that.
on.
It was like, um, yeah, something like that. And they have too much spirit energy, and you have to reap them and let them to help them pass on.
Yeah, you like take some of their energy so that they can properly pass on to wherever it is that they go. I don't think that they ever said Where?
think it depends.
Um,
Either they go up or they go down.
yeah, I don't think that they
They
really
just
said. I'm gonna be
they
honest.
don't. I don't think they did. It's just they just move on.
Yeah, I mean, it like obviously because like talking about the afterlife, if the afterlife is something that you necessarily believe in, um, there are people that believe in like heaven and hell. Like that would obviously be the Christians, and then there's also like purgatory, which is where this is like more along the lines of a purgatory type place, which is sort of a between zone.
Yeah.
Um, though usually purgatory, I don't know actually what purgatory generally entails. I always thought that it was like,
Usually it's just like a void. I
yeah,
thought
it was like it's like a holding cell before you
just
end up
like
somewhere
nothingness.
else. Um, but I have heard of purgatory being like you need to go there before you go to heaven or hell to like finish any unfinished business, which is where the uh like thoughts of ghosts even come from. So I guess this is
Mhm.
probably the most apt um sort of
Description.
depiction of it. Yeah. Uh
Purgatory.
yeah, and so like yeah, you are tasked to go and reap these ghosts. And so you're given a scythe and you go and you fight ghosts. Like that's
Okay.
that's the job. um and so yeah, I
You get spirit energy. You level up your abilities, skills, stats,
yep,
whatever,
each
as you would with an RPG.
yeah, it's like a little skill tree where you don't have to like level up one thing before you can even like affect another. You can pretty much level up whatever
You
you
can just
want, whatever
level
you
up
want,
whatever
which
you
is
want.
nice. You just
Yeah, I
need
like
like
that. Just need the amount of
various
stuff,
yeah, you need
amount of
various
energy.
points to get it. Um uh yeah, I did like how they handled it cuz like there are some RPGs where it's like, "Oh, in order to get this skill, you need to level up magic power like 4 times in order to do that."
Yeah.
It's like, but
No,
okay, fine.
I don't wanna do that.
Yeah. But this one, it's like, okay, so you want this magic ability that affects like this color enemy harder than any other enemy? Well,
Just buy it.
you're in
Go
luck.
ahead.
You can just buy it.
Just buy it.
Yeah. And
Got enough money? Buy it.
yep. And I really did enjoy how they handled that. Um,
Yeah, it's
you
always
can
good.
see in the
Mm,
trailer that the way that the like the core like meat of the combat is whenever you choose to do an attack that is not a skill, like just a basic attack, you have to like you have to hit like a Dead by Daylight skill check.
Oh, yeah, I did notice that. I also noticed that it was a little slippery.
Yeah, it was a little slippery. I was
Like,
gonna
you have to hit it slightly before
yeah,
where you want it to.
otherwise it will
It'll overshoot.
yeah, even though it doesn't look like it will, it does.
Yeah, it's wonky,
I think I mean I got
but
used to it pretty quickly.
I did too, but I
But
still
like
noticed it.
at the beginning it's a little wonky.
Same
Um
with the dodging.
yeah,
That one you have to be, like, actually perfect on.
I think not really because for the dodging, I literally just like once it got close, I just spammed the button and it worked pretty much every
Yeah, I
time.
mean, I just timed it.
No, I didn't even time it. I just got close and I mashed and it
I
worked.
know. I
Yeah.
timed it
Well, good
every
for you,
time.
you god gamer.
Although
Um
still lost against, Baker, so, whatever.
RIP Tim's soul, literally.
Yeah,
Um
literally.
yeah, I mean that's like the sort of that's like the core of the thing. There's not really
Gameplay.
yeah, there's not really it's very simple. Very effective for what it
Yeah.
is. A nice like um a nice little like throwback to just like basic. I don't even like maybe even like Super Nintendo
Um,
level like RPGs where you just like you
yeah,
go in, you get stats, you
well,
get skills, you kill enemies. That's the job.
because the other thing is, I don't know, uh, Final Fantasy VII, you know how like, because it's not exactly a turn based
Oh,
either.
yeah, of
It
course.
was timing, or it's like timer based.
Yeah, so like the
So you have to
faster
wait for
you
your
are,
you have to
the
wait for your timer to fill up before
yeah,
you can
your like turn bar fills up, and then
uh Fantasy 7,
yeah.
which
Was it in any
um
of the other ones? I want to say it was in like
that's the
7,
only
8,
one I've
and
played.
9.
That's the only one I've played.
That's fine.
And then unfortunately, it is the one thing I did not like. I even in Final Fantasy 7, I didn't really like how you just have to wait, and also the fact that there was no like block or like guard. You just have to take the damage.
Yeah. Were definitely times where like
But
you just take the
you
damage.
know, maybe I'm playing too much Paper Mario recently, where you can block and super guard, and
Yeah,
you super guard, you take no damage.
that's definitely a facet of like Nintendo games. I don't think there are very
Yeah,
many like I don't even want to say Sony, but like JRPGs
where you can like
where
guard
you actively
and
guard.
attack.
The only
Yeah,
one I think I can think of is The Legend of Dragoon, which is like an elderly game that I doubt anybody who is listening to this would
ancient
have ever played.
ancient game.
And if you have, let me know. Yeah. Uh that was one of those games where
But yeah, I
like
mean it worked out, I guess.
yeah, no,
Your speed bar.
I did abuse the crap out of it because I am somebody who grew up on the speed bar type games. Like I
Mhm.
played Final Fantasy 7 so much as a kid
Yeah,
that I like the nostalgia was definitely there. It definitely clouds my like I don't think that the mechanic is very good on paper. uh
yeah.
but I like it because that's what I grew up on, you know?
Those good old rose-colored glasses.
Yep, absolutely. Like
Um,
if I had to say like does it work in this game? I mean, probably
kinda.
no, right? It's
Not
it,
not
it
really. It
it's
would have been better if it was turn-based, but
yeah,
it's alright.
it's definitely like super abusable. Um I
Dump
abused
all
it
your
to
dump all
no
your
end.
stuff into speed, yeah.
Yeah, basically. Um the other thing I guess is that is worth mentioning is like you don't have an MP bar uh as you would in most like JRPGs or RPGs. This is
Mm,
similar to something like Deltarune, where you have to hit them to get the like resource in order to cast spells or
yeah,
use
it's
skills.
I think it was literally just called, like, magic or something, I don't remember.
Yeah, they didn't get really like creative with it. Um,
It was just, like, spirit or something.
I think it actually was Spirit. But you use that skill, you use that, or you have to hit them with your just like basic attack in order to gain it.
To
And the
gain
more
that,
like I guess the more damage or like the closer to hitting the perfect skill check you
you get
get, the
more.
more
Yep,
magic like power you get. And which
yep.
is like really important because the way that I did it was I spammed my entire everything into speed until it was maxed um to abuse the like speed bar. And
Yeah,
then I used the speed up skill like literally first.
yeah,
As like my after my first attack, it was like speed up and then defense up, and then I would hit again, and then I would use like a magic ability, and they
yeah.
would before they
They
could
would just
act,
die.
and they would die. And it's like every fight would just go that way to where like I was outspeeding everything in the game so hard that they didn't really have the ability to like fight back too well, which
Mhm.
is kind of nice. I mean, I enjoyed my time.
Yeah, I
Um,
mean, I kinda balanced it out a little, but yeah, whatever.
yeah. Um, I will admit there was definitely at the beginning when I had like no attack or magic, I definitely struggled a little. I used
Yeah, but
quite a few healing items, which are notably bread.
bread
Yeah, all the
bread,
healing items were
muffin,
like
cookie,
pastries. Yeah,
donut, cake.
donut. Yeah. Um. Yeah. So okay. So the story is very simple. In
Yeah.
this game, very very simple. Uh, I don't know if you want to tell it since it's probably a lot fresher in your mind since you
Um,
just finished it.
well, first off, you wake up in a bed. Turns out, you died.
You die. Hooray.
You died. You wake up surrounded by all these reapers with wearing their masks. And you're told that you're a reaper. And
Yay.
what reapers are souls that or spirits that weren't strong enough to move on, so um they get made into reapers to help the ones who are too strong, as we mentioned earlier, have too much spirit energy
Yeah.
to move on.
Right.
And you collect the spirit energy for yourself to fill up your actually the like skills tree is story related.
It is
You
story
fill you
related.
If you max all of that out, technically you can move on. You as a reaper can move on. So yeah, it's kind of neat how they made that story related.
Yeah.
And then when as you're going out doing your reaper thing, you first think that this is just a dream or whatever. And then you find a little spirit, which is was kind of funny when I saw it. Is named Timmy,
Yeah.
who is your little brother.
So it's worth
Your
noting.
character's little brother.
It's worth noting that you're a little girl. I guess she'd be like a teenager
Yeah,
whose
I
name
think
is
so.
Lavender.
Yeah,
And yeah, so she finds Timmy, her younger brother.
who is a spirit.
Yeah.
But you find out that um Timmy came here with a soul, and
Yeah.
earlier Grimm, who is the I guess first Reaper, the owner, the whole like
He's death.
he's basically death. Like he's the Grim Reaper.
Yeah.
Tells you that when when they die, the soul is gone. Basically, you don't need it anymore. But when the rare case that spirits do come down here with a soul, he redirects them back to life because it's like you shouldn't be here. Why do you
Right.
still have your soul?
But notably, Timmy's missing his soul.
Yeah, he tells you that I had a soul when I got here, but one of these other ghosts stole it. So then that you go out you hide Timmy in your pocket,
Of course.
and you go out looking for his soul.
Yeah. Which I thought was really funny because it kind of makes me think of Deltarune's Lancer in your pocket, because like you can literally go into your inventory in both games and
It's
the
true,
character will be there.
It's true. Yeah, Lancer will just
Well, he's just in there,
he'll just in your inventory as an item.
Yeah.
It's funny.
Um
But yeah, I mean, you go through all these, you reap ghosts on your way looking for a soul. You're looking for the soul. On the way, you meet other reapers. You you meet this one reaper who wasn't very good at reaping, and so they convinced Grimm to let them be a baker.
Yes.
Because where reapers can't die because they're already dead.
Yep.
They do pass out because the health that you use is willpower. So it's like when the ghosts do too much damage to you, you like pass out.
Right.
But the baker makes pastries that restore willpower. So it's like it's kind of helps. Why not? So you meet Baker. He goes with you to help teach you how to reap for whatever reason. I don't know why they choose Baker to go. He's like the one that can't reap.
Yeah.
Grimm like assigns him to
I think it's
as a
like
newbie.
Yeah, I think it's just the fact that because he hasn't reaped, or he hasn't like, the way that it felt is that it doesn't take people very long to get enough like spirit energy in order to pass on as reapers.
Yeah.
And so like they're passing on fairly often, and then like because the baker has been there for so long
Yeah.
that he's been there for a while, so he knows like everything there is to know, basically.
Yeah, I guess so. Um, anyway, so you find the ghost that stole the soul, and then Baker knocks you out and takes it for himself
Yeah. What you find out is like
because
dun dun dun.
it's
He
like,
is
oh
the
shit.
villain.
And it's like, and later you find when you go chasing after him, you find out that like he just wants to go home because he's been here longest. He's been here for so long. But it's like the thing is he has completed his like spirit energy skill tree, whatever. So it's like, why didn't he just do that? But also, the thing is because soul makes you go back to the living world
Yeah.
and not the beyond or whatever.
Yeah.
So it's like, he wants to go back. He wants to live again.
Well, yeah, because he's not supposed to be here. The question. Okay, so this is me having played it much earlier, but you playing it most recently. Did they ever actually say um, why Lavender ended up like passing? Was it a intentional death? I guess is more of what I'm asking. I
Um,
can't remember.
no, I don't think they mentioned it at all. I mean,
I
not in my experience. I didn't see anything.
okay.
All she really talked about was like the parents fought a lot.
Yeah, and that like their
That
dad
was it.
left pretty early on,
I'm pretty sure their dad died
or their dad
because he
died.
had
Yeah,
he had like health problems, and then the stress of the fighting between the parents didn't help.
right. Um,
So
yeah,
um,
there's a lot of like bleakness in the game and a lot of like implications.
mhm. I don't
Um,
think they outright say what like how Lavender and Timmy died.
yeah, that's kind of what I was gonna get at is like I don't know how Timmy could have gotten there. Like gotten to where he got with a soul if he wasn't supposed to be there, unless like I don't know, they're driving and like they get into a car crash and like she dies, right? But
Yeah,
he is like on the brink, maybe?
something like
And
that. I
like
don't know.
he's like in a coma or like something that has sort of said that or like basically done uh caused his soul to leave his body, his spirit to leave his body, and end up where he's ended up. I
Mhm.
don't think
I'm
they
gonna be
really
honest.
spell it out.
I the first thing I thought of too was also a car crash.
Yeah, yeah. Um,
So it's
I
possible. I don't know. Um, play the game yourself,
yeah,
dear
come to your own
viewers,
conclusion.
and if you know you
The
see
other
what we
thing,
see, if you don't see, whatever,
okay, so
make
like
your own thoughts.
backing up just a tiny bit, um, my notes are apparently not as good as I thought they were. So the thing that sort of sets Lavender apart, the main character, is that she has these like curly like swirls on her cheeks.
Hmm.
And
Which
then
are like a birthmark or something.
yeah, I guess it's
It
something that like
runs in
runs
the
in the
family.
family. And that's how I believe that she identifies her brother's ghost.
Yeah.
And so but I'm trying to remember why she thought that he was here. Or was it like somebody mentioned, like, oh, I saw a ghost with something like that?
Oh
Uh,
yeah, you're right. He did. She did mention something that like, oh, I need to find Timmy. Like
yeah,
at the very beginning, and it's like, cause she mentions it to Grimm. She's like, oh, can you keep an eye out for a ghost if he's here named Timmy? And he's like, I don't know any, but I'll keep an eye out.
right. And
So yeah,
then,
maybe it was some sort of car crash where
right. Uh,
if she realizes she died, then
he
maybe
was
he
there
did
too,
too.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, obviously nothing is really confirmed. I've genuinely been like sitting here
I
looking
no, I
through the wiki and like
nothing was confirmed for me either.
there's not a lot of stuff on the wiki. There's not a lot of stuff on almost anywhere really. This game appears to be pretty unknown. Even though it's like super good. uh
Yeah, it's good.
it came
Very
out right
short, like
around the time, like a year after Deltarune Chapter 1. Um
mm,
so and like it's very obviously inspired by a lot of the
yeah,
mechanics and stuff
of
like
Deltarune / Undertale.
yeah, well Deltarune more specifically I would say. Um just with like the way that the world looks and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Um but yeah, I don't know. I think the thing that we're supposed to take away from it is that she and Lavender and Timmy end up, going to this spirit world, and the goal is to get Timmy his soul back,
Yeah,
right? Like you said, and then send him home.
pretty
Like,
much.
and then obviously, like you said, Baker takes the soul after
Baker
you
takes the
defeat
soul and he
the
goes to move
ghost.
on or to go back, and it's like you get a final battle with against Baker, and he's fully powered up because how he's been getting spirit energy is because he doesn't do
Baking.
any reaping. He bakes when he bakes the stuff. He you know asks for a little bit from the reapers that do reap and
Yeah,
buy his baked goods so
and
they don't
that's
just
also a part of the
pass
game.
out.
Whenever you go to his shop, you have to pay in
You
just
have to
like
pay
a
in
teeny
spirit
tiny
energy.
bit of spirit energy.
Yeah. And he's
And
clearly been
it's
doing it for a long time.
yeah. Well, and that's what I'm saying is like you go into a single fight in like not even the end game area, but like the middle of it, and it's like 40 or
Yeah, you
50,
get like 40
yeah,
SE
spirit energy, um
per fight.
and then once you go back and like the most expensive thing you can buy is like 10. So like
Yeah,
you're never short healing items ever.
nope. At least you shouldn't be. Plus,
Well, yeah.
they give you a lot of them because whenever you in like side areas when you wake up the reapers that have passed out, they give you some.
Yeah.
They give you a few.
Which,
So it's like
I didn't
I
necessarily
almost
what?
go ahead.
Oh, I was gonna say, I didn't think that the game needed to be like difficult. Um, but it definitely was like super easy, in my opinion.
Yeah.
I didn't really have an issue with it. Uh so the final battle
Sort
with
of.
the baker. This is where we'll get into like super spoilers, I guess. Technically this whole thing is spoilers, so like whatever,
I'm
dude.
pretty sure that's like 'cause this game has multiple endings.
Yeah, so the game
I'm
has
pretty sure
four endings.
that's the like divide point
Yeah.
is your fight with Baker.
Sort of. Not
I think
completely.
that's at least 2 endings.
Okay, so the endings are the like incomplete bad end where you have not finished with the like
Your skill
your
tree.
spirit. You've not completely capped out every single spirit like skill point on your skill tree, and then you lose to Baker.
Yeah, which is I guess
Um
what I got because
and
I didn't do
then
that either.
there is the like complete bad ending, which is the you do complete the skill tree and you lose to Baker still. And
Yeah,
then the other two are just mirrored good
you get
endings.
incomplete good ending and complete good ending.
Yeah.
I guess I got the, incomplete bad end because that's what that's what happened. I
Right.
didn't complete the whole skill tree and I lost to Baker. What happens there is he leaves, goes to the living, Grimm, Timmy becomes unstable, becomes a violent ghost. Grimm has to reap him. You lose it, I guess, because You got you. There's nothing else for you. You just reap.
Right.
You become like a wandering nomad, I guess,
Okay, so hang
going
on,
out,
wait.
just
You
living in
said
the caves, reaping ghost after ghost.
you said you lose to Baker and then Baker takes the soul and goes through, right?
Yeah,
Right, as usual. And then you have to fight Grimm? Is that what you said?
yeah.
Okay.
You do.
Uh
You fight. You pass out because you lost to Baker, and then Grimm shows up and uh you talk for a bit. You tell him what happened. Um, Timmy starts to get malformed and stronger, whatever ghosts do to when they become violent.
oh,
Um, and then you step in between Grimm and Timmy to
interesting.
like have Grimm not rape him.
Right.
And of course, you can't fight Grimm because it's Grimm.
Okay,
He's
that's what I was wondering, or I think that's what like my brain missed because I was like, what did he say?
yeah.
That is
It's
interesting.
not like a full fight. You're at like one health, and you
Like
try to
it's there to lose, basically.
yeah. You try to fight Grimm, and you slap him for 0 damage with your scythe,
Well,
and you're at
that's
one health.
interesting. Because I got the incomplete good ending because I did beat Baker.
Mm.
Um, the the Timmy changing part is interesting because that means that like the reason why all the ghosts that you're actually fighting are the way that they are is because they didn't um
He didn't
they're
come there
not
with a
like
soul.
tied to a soul, right?
Yeah, they didn't come there with a soul.
Well, I mean, I think it's less about that and less and more about the fact that like the soul's around, even though Timmy doesn't have it, the soul is around somewhere, right?
Yeah.
Just like the Baker has it, Timmy hasn't gone insane or like gone like
Mhm.
aggressive or whatever. Um, and so once the
But
soul has left that realm
yeah,
like
once
completely, then that occurs,
yeah.
which is interesting. I feel like there's some like special inherent world building there that I
Mhm.
don't think really leads anywhere, but
Yeah,
yeah,
it's just a little small detail that is makes sense.
yeah. Um, so what happens with like what happens with the I guess I had looked it up whenever I finished it is what happens
Yeah.
with the bad like fully done good like fully powered up end. Unless this happened with yours as well, where there's like at the end there's a scene of both Lavender and Timmy's graves.
Mm. I didn't see that, no.
No, which is
No.
like pretty dark.
Yeah, I mean, because I would assume that, Timmy still gets reaped because he has to, because he becomes aggressive.
Yeah.
Grim still reaps him,
Well, that
but
means
because you have your SE completed, you can move on as well.
right.
So it's like, yeah, I mean, that makes sense.
So it's like kind of a neutral ending, but still pretty bad because like you
But
didn't save
because,
Timmy.
um, I got the incomplete, my ending was
You still have to.
Lavender becomes like a recluse
Yeah.
reaper, very scary, powerful, nobody talks to her anymore. She lives in the caves, just reaping all the time until she passes out. Grim finds her, puts her in bed, gives her some cookies and milk, and next time he's there, she's gone. Back to more reaping.
Yeah.
So it's
The.
it's like a definitely the worst ending.
I mean, yeah, I suppose. I would say so. The incomplete good ending is like very similar, except for obviously Timmy gets his soul back. He becomes like a human. He looks
Mhm.
like a actual person. And then he like walks through the door. He goes back to life, and then like you're like, so what do I do now? And you're like, and Drem's like, well, you've got to finish what you're
You
doing.
gotta
And
you
she's like, all
gotta keep
right.
reaping.
Um, and so like she goes to you know gather all of her stuff. She doesn't like go crazy. She just becomes eventually very like I want to say bored. Um where eventually she just like stops going out and reaping, and then she no longer. Yeah, she just very similar to what you said. She just doesn't finish her job. So
Yeah.
yeah, I don't know.
I don't know if she finishes a job or not. The end is just that she is there reaping. She doesn't talk to anybody. She doesn't talk to Grimm. Just lives in the caves reaping.
Yeah, it's not quite as dark. But it's definitely like, oh, she doesn't want to move on because like that means that it's the end, but she doesn't want to like keep going. So she just kind of
Yeah.
like gets stagnant, which is like really sad.
Yeah. Sounds like it.
So I would suggest if you play this game and you've already spoiled it, finish the skill trees. Basically,
do that.
like no matter what you do, even if you lose to Baker, it's probably
it.
better to just
Do a little bit of grinding.
just grind it out. It's gonna be better for your mental health. We apparently both got like both sides of the bad end coin.
Yeah.
Which is like really rare for us.
I kind of knew that like because the skill tree is story based. I'm like, yeah, this is probably gonna come in. I probably should do this, and then I didn't. Because I was actually like confident in my ability to beat Baker. Then he like two shot me before I could heal, and I was like, oh shit.
Yeah,
I missed like one guard or one dodge.
Yeah,
and died.
I don't know. I was pretty confident. I was like, I don't think I need to finish this.
Died.
I didn't think that it would have an impact on the story. I knew there would be different endings, but I figured there would be like a dialogue box or something like that.
Oh yeah. No. So what's the completed good ending?
The completed good ending is they both walk through the like
the gate, yeah.
Yeah, the gate, and then I guess there's a scene that happens afterward where like in her moved on state, Lavender sees that Timmy is able to like accept her passing and move on with his life.
Yeah.
Which is like pretty wholesome.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
But yeah, I mean it might be worth like going back.
Sad, obviously, but
Well, yeah, I mean if it's a game about death, I don't know how you're gonna get away from sad.
Can't really dodge that.
But yeah, it might be worth it just to go back because like obviously I still have a save. Go back and see all of the endings just like in person because it probably wouldn't take more than like 15 to 20 minutes to grind
literally
it out.
Like go to the previous few rooms and just kill the ghosts there.
Yeah, I mean personally,
get up the level and then just like do them in order.
Personally, I think I was like 3 or 4 like
I guess
skill
for you,
things done or away. I was so close.
It would be like for you it would be like lose to Baker now and then complete and then lose to him again and then complete and then win.
Right.
For me it'd just be up from there.
But yeah, I don't really have
Baker and then complete it and not lose to Baker. I guess no, I'd have to do.
There's 4 total, so it'd be like you have to win.
I have to
in your
not
state,
complete and win,
and then complete and then lose,
and
then complete and then win. Yeah.
It's like a W.
It's kind of annoying. I'll be honest. That like.
Just keep a second save.
Yeah, just keep a second save. I don't know. Whatever. It's not really that important. I think that the game is really good. I think that the game is really good for what it is.
For what it is, for the length it is.
I would really recommend it to anybody, mainly because it is free. On Steam.
It is free. It's like a 2.5 hour.
Yeah.
Length, depending on how long you want to play it.
If you like little story games like this, even though we spoiled the absolute shit out of it, I would recommend.
There is actually even a easier mode that's like a story mode they do give you at the beginning when you start the game, and it's like regular, which is like, oh yeah, okay, it's just regular, or there's like a story focused where I think the combat is easier, even though the combat wasn't that hard.
The combat was super easy. I don't really like,
but it's like there's like a story focused where they may even like remove the combat altogether. I don't know.
Yeah, it said like less fights. I don't know
Actually,
what that means.
I
I don't
actually
know how
couldn't.
that works with like skilling up things. Maybe it'll just take like less will power or less spirit energy in order to like get each level
I don't
up,
know.
and so you
I
don't
just
have
did
to
the
do as
normal.
many. I don't know. I just did normal too because I was like, I don't know how hard this game is. Maybe it's gonna be like hard as shit.
Yeah.
You know, I doubt it, but yeah, I didn't want to like
So yeah, if you're more
accidentally.
inclined to the story instead of the combat, try out the story mode. There is one.
Yeah, I think anybody can beat even the regular mode.
Yeah.
It's not difficult at all. It's very easy, especially if you have like especially if you're going for the like good ending, like you're maxing out all the skills, like by definition
It
you're
won't
gonna
be
be
hard.
overpowered.
Yeah, it
So
won't be hard.
yeah, but yeah, I don't have really much else to say about this game.
No, I
It was a
said
really
too.
cute 2 hour jaunt. Would recommend.
Would recommend.
Yeah, I'll give it. I think I'm just gonna give it a 7. Because
Okay.
it doesn't really like exceed a lot of my expectations, but I don't want to give it like a bad score.
Yeah,
Uh
because we enjoyed it. So
yeah, I because like I in my estimation, like a 5 is something where I was like, it wasn't bad, but it
eh,
wasn't good. But I think there are a lot of good
yeah,
things about
I
this
think a
game.
7. I think I'll agree with the 7.
Yeah, I think
Um,
yeah, I think
because
that it's just
like the
it's really
music wasn't
good.
anything like
It's solid. I say it's solid. It's
super
solid.
spectacular, but it was it was there to set the mood, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, if it has a good story, which I think this had a good story, like
Good.
game is worth playing. So
Yeah.
yeah. All right. Well, I think that about wraps it up.
Yep.
Um,
Does.
if there's nothing else, the
Mm-mm.
next game on our list is called Industria,
Industria,
which is a first-person shooter of the
which is
puzzle-ish variety.
puzzle slash I think horror,
Kinda,
slightly horror, I guess.
I
I
guess.
don't know.
Yeah. But yeah. So join us next week for that. And yeah. We'll see you
Yep.
then. Thank you so much for listening, and we'll see you next week. Goodbye.
Bye bye.